Well, good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Good morning. Everybody's alive and well and happy. Well, first of all, I'd like to welcome everyone here today, but most importantly, I'd like to give a special welcome to some individuals that joined us today. Rensselaer County Executive Kathy Chemino, Monroe County Executive Maggie Brooks, and Montgomery County Board of Supervisors Chairman Tom Quackenbush, and New York State School Boards Association Executive Director Tim Kramer, who you'll all be hearing from very shortly. The reason we're here today, obviously, is we're winding down the 2011 legislative session. But what's been a little bit disturbing is back on May 23rd of 2011, there was an announced agreement on a tax cap. And at that press conference with the other legislative leaders and the governor, I said, this is great, but we have to have unfunded mandate relief as well as part of this session. Governor Cuomo, at that same press conference, said that there would be mandate relief before the end of session to go along with these other major pieces of legislation. Well, it's been fairly quiet from our perspective in terms of actually seeing action and legislation being discussed regarding mandate relief, which basically means relief for local taxpayers. New York State has the largest combined state and local tax burden in the country. And New York State government has a responsibility to help local taxpayers through the discussion of mandates that have been put on the backs of local taxpayers in county, town, village, school district governments for years. This is not a new problem. It's been around for a while. But this conference has been at the forefront of looking for mandate relief in terms of actual legislative action. Well, since that press conference, as I mentioned, we haven't heard much. We've, quite frankly, the airwaves and the media, the newspapers have talked about everything else except the taxpayer. We're talking about marriage equality, we're talking about a congressman, we're talking about everything else but protecting the local taxpayer. And that's why we're here today, is to remind everyone that we have an opportunity before this session is over to provide real mandate relief, which means real cost relief to local taxpayers throughout this state. Right now, we have to wait for smoke to come out of the Capitol, the white smoke to say we've got decisions being made on the benefit of all of us. Well, I think that's, the more things change, the more things remain the same. And this is unacceptable. We should be discussing and debating a variety of different ideas on mandate relief out in the open, out in public, and with all the parties that this matters to, which is both houses of the legislature, the governor, and all the officials from local government. So this is not about Assembly Republican ideas today. This is about New York State taxpayer ideas today. And so the speakers that we're having join us today are going to let you know the impact that they're trying to manage at the local level and the burdens that are placed on local taxpayers by state government action or state government inaction. And so the purpose of this press conference today is to how about stimulating some action, some debate, some discussion before the lights are turned off and everybody goes home for the summer about actually protecting the local taxpayer. Because if you look at every single poll in this state, what are people most concerned about? Jobs, property taxes, and all the other tax burdens that they feel that pinch every single day. Whether it's a tax at the gas pump, whether it's a tax on their cell phone bill, whether it's their property tax, sales tax, the poor taxpayers of the state of New York have had enough. And we got to find ways to reduce their costs, not just hold them steady. So we believe that the point here today is to reach out to all the legislative leaders and all the conferences, the state legislature, and Governor Cuomo and his administration, that we must not leave Albany without mandate relief, actual cost relief to the taxpayers of New York State.